Hello, my name is Quindiger, and I will be answering what is Offworld Trading Company. Offworld Trading Company is an RTS without any violence. It is an economic RTS about managing a business and then buying stock of other companies to defeat them by completely taking ownership of the opposing company and showing them the door that they can leave through, since you now own them. Offworld Trading Company is developed by Mohawk Games. This is their first title and it has sold over 500,000 copies. Mohawk is now working with Starbreeze on a title called 10 Crowns, a turn-based strategy game. Offworld Trading Company is published by Stardock Entertainment, who published some personal favorites of mine, including Sins of a Solar Empire and Galactic Civilizations. Today I will be playing a single-player skirmish against AI on manager difficulty. On the single player menu, you'll see the difficulty of the AI, followed by location, map size, map type, and then there's also preset maps, a map seed, and then the amount of AI players from 1 to 7. There's also fully customizable game rules. Alright, so let's jump into this game. You can see the loading screen here, the new meridians. There's tips, and all that good stuff. Alright, when you first start the game, you will be able to scan the surface of Mars for resources, and then choose a corporation to align with and build a headquarters. The different headquarters are Seneca Development, which gives an extra claim and uses less steel. Then there's the robots, Yoshimi Robotics, which is all robots that use power instead of food and uses electronics instead of glass when upgrading, and adjacency bonuses and extra resources when you build an HQ. The Reclamation Industries are pirates that use carbon instead of steel and have black market connections. And finally, the scientists, who get resources that you build over and get patents much quicker, and start with the Goon Squad to protect a claim right off the bat. I'm going to start with Seneca, as I think they are well balanced and are generally my favorite due to the extra claim and better base upgrade times due to needing less steel. I'm going to build my base in the center of this water and aluminum, mostly because the water is an essential resource in this game and everyone needs to drink water, and it can be used to grow food and make fuel and oxygen. A good strategy is to always be near water, since it is the most valuable resource in the game. I'm also going to build an aluminum mine, as aluminum helps upgrade your base, and a windmill by selling some of my silicon to get some power. Now, power is normally expensive early game as it's scarce, but then normally becomes dirt cheap later game as it becomes plentiful. Aluminum is plentiful on this map, so it's probably going to become pretty cheap later game. In Offworld Trading Company, one of its strengths is that it uses randomly generated maps. So each game you have to evaluate the map and determine what your strategy is going to be on that particular map. I will only build one aluminum mine since it's plentiful, but it does help cheapen upgrading my base. The thing about building resource mines is that unlike food, water, gas, and oxygen, it's a resource that isn't being used as much except to upgrade bases, so the price can really plummet if you oversaturate the market. And since the resource isn't being used as much, it can sit at rock bottom, making it virtually useless. That's the thing about Offworld Trading Company, is that it really makes you look at the supply and demand of the market, making you really feel like a true entrepreneur. This game really nails the entrepreneurial and capitalistic spirit of business, and it's rewarding, especially online, to know that you can run a company better than the other players. And it's a race to buy their stock before they can pony up the money to buy your own corporation. It can be heart-pounding, edge-of-your-seat action that is unique and fun. Alright, so I'm saving up money right now to upgrade my base. Upgrading your base can take aluminum, steel, and glass, and if you don't have all those resources, as you probably won't, you can save up money to buy the resources required to upgrade your base. As you can see, I upgraded my base to level 2. Upgrading your base gives you 4 additional claim tiles, and I get an extra one since I'm Seneca Corporation. There are 12 buildings you can place on the map. Each building will use up a limited number of claims, so you better use them carefully. Building a building next to your HQ or an electric building will automatically generate the resource, but building further away will take fuel to bring the resource to you. There are 3 power buildings, a water pump, a farm, an electrolysis reactor for fuel and oxygen, 2 different types of mines for 4 different resources, a steel mill, a chemical refinery, a glass kiln, and an electronics factory. There are also 5 specialty buildings, a patent lab for building patents, an optimization center for increasing production, which is my favorite, and a pleasure dome that's for civilians, a hacking array for manipulating the market, and an off-world market for shipping your resources into space. Alright, so in the bottom right hand corner you'll see the black market. The black market is a set of 7 to 9 abilities that you can use for your own benefit or to hamper your opposition. It adds an additional layer of strategy as the appropriate use of the black market can greatly affect how well your own stock and the stock of your rivals does. A well-placed EMP can bankrupt a company and bring it to its knees so you can finish it off by buying the company out. As you hover your mouse over the buildings, you'll see the cost it takes to build them and the net revenue they will generate. If a building is generating negative net revenue, it will turn off like my farms did. To fix this, I sold water to bring the price of water down and turn my farms back on. I saw the robots were doing too well, so I set off an EMP to hamper their efforts and set them back a little bit. That'll teach them. Alright, so here's some gameplay of the optimization center. I'm optimizing my oxygen production since it's so valuable and you don't really make enough of it. And yeah, you can optimize any of the different forms of production, and you just spend chemicals to increase the production of different resources. And it goes up in steps of 25%, so it's like 25%, 50%, 75%.
Pirates. I hate those filthy bandits. Our methods continue to improve.
As you can see, Offworld Trading Company games take a bit too long for my video, so I split it up a little bit and then increase the speed in the end. There's always something to do when you're waiting around, whether it's demolishing buildings and reconstructing them or optimizing production. It all comes down to buying those stocks before the other players do. At this point, the robots have bought out the pirates, and I'm in a mad dash to buy out the robots, since they are my biggest competitors. The price of food is at 300 right now, and oxygen is at 200, and fuel is also at 250. And so those prices are soaring, and that's because they're being used so much. Because everything that's far away from a HQ has to use fuel, and then the colonists in the cities use up food and oxygen to obviously stay alive. So those prices are just completely soaring. Alright, so at this point I almost have enough money to buy out the robots. So you can see me frantically selling up, and there we go, I bought out the robots. So now my main competitor is the scientists. The scientists own half of all my stocks, and I own almost half of all theirs. Okay, now I own completely half of all their stocks. So now it's a race to try to buy out the scientists. Okay, so now that I bought out robotics, I get all the money they were generating, and since I also own the pirates, I get all the money that the pirates were generating. So I have the total combined money that they're generating from both of those stocks or corporations. And so there's a huge advantage that I have on the scientists since they don't own that. And I just got enough money to buy out the scientists, and that's how you win a game of Offworld Trading Company. Alright, so Offworld Trading Company has some pretty in-depth stats. You can see your biggest money maker, your biggest money sink, your favorite sabotage, your favorite target, and you can see that for all of the AI that are in your game, or players if you're playing online. And yeah, there's just a lot of it. There's like a balance sheet, production and sales. There's just a lot of different statistics that are tracked while you're playing the game that you can go through and look at, and just see, you know, how the game went and like why everything happened the way it did. This graph shows the price of everything, and so let's go to settings now, and we'll just have a quick look at the end of this video at the settings. They're pretty minimalistic, there's not a lot. I have everything on high. This is a pretty old game, so my computer can run everything at high, but there's a lot of different UI things you can do and hotkeys that are rebindable, so it's pretty standard fare for all the settings. So that's the end of this video. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.